Hey guys, so today I have swatches of the Greatest Showman collection from Glam Polish. I will link the website down below. 10 polishes here all together, and I will get into the swatches. So the first polish is called Walking a Tightrope, and this is described as a cornflower blue crelly with aurora shimmer and ultra holographic glitter. And you can see that red shimmer showing up a little bit there in the bottle. So this one is sheer on that first coat. The shimmer does stand out pretty well. I could see it a lot better in the bottle than it was showing up on camera. Every time I would try to move the bottle to the right angle to show the shimmer, I would get a glare on the glass, and then it would hide it anyway. Good formula on this one, and I know my nails probably don't look that great right now. I've had a lot of small breaks and slight reshaping that I've had to do in the last couple of days. This does start to build up on the second coat, but I can still see my nail line pretty well. On the first coat, that shimmer actually seems much stronger after it's fully dry, so I'll see if that stays the same with the second coat once the base is more opaque. This one does build up better in that third coat. If I look very closely, I can still make out a little bit of my nail line, but it's pretty minor. And like I mentioned before, that red shimmer also gets a lot stronger after the polish is fully dry. So that is 3 coats of Walking a Tightrope. The next polish is called A Million Dreams, and this is described as a candy pink crelly with iridescent flakies and ultra hollow glitter. This is also sheer on the first coat. The base is sheer on the first coat, but there are a good amount of flakies in here. When you have a polish with a lot of flakies in it like this, it does take, I feel like, a little bit more care to get everything spread out evenly because the flakies kind of want to clump together. This does start to build up a bit on the second coat, but I can still see my nail line. You might get a little bit of texture from those flakies once everything is fully dry. It will be pretty minor because they do lay pretty flat on their own, but once you have like 3 coats of this polish, they are going to start to build up a little bit. So you will want top coat to smooth that out. So the color does build up fairly well here in that third coat. Like the blue, if I look closely, I can still see my nail line a bit. So that is 3 coats of A Million Dreams. The next polish is called Something Sensational, and this is described as a bright green crelly with neon pink and black glitter. So this one is also a bit sheer on that first coat. That does help that glitter show really well though. It's not covered up by the base at all. Good formula on this one. I'm doing like a little bit of intentional glitter placement with my brush as I go, just trying to make sure that it's kind of evenly spread across my nail, even though that's not entirely necessary on the first coat of a crelly. I just can't help myself. This one does start to build up on that second coat. It is still a bit sheer though. I know I kind of like went through my normal speech of how getting the glitter perfectly even on the first coat of a crelly doesn't matter. I feel like that doesn't apply to this one after looking at the second coat. I'm actually going right back to this nail to put a little bit more on there because I didn't take that care on this first nail. Because this is a bit more on the sheer side, so that first coat of glitter actually stands out pretty well. I usually say that because the first coat of glitter gets covered up anyway, but this is sheer enough that I think it might actually be important to get it fairly well spread out on the first coat. So this one looks pretty good on that third coat. I did put a little bit of extra polish on this nail to try to even out the glitter, so I'm not going to call if it's 100% opaque until I get to a different nail. But the buildup between 1 and 2 coats was already pretty promising. This does look pretty good in 3. And you will definitely want top coat. That glitter is going to dry textured and it is going to be more difficult to remove off of the nail. So that is 3 coats of Something Sensational. The next polish is called The Greatest Showman, and this is described as a bright red crelly with gold flakies. So this one is a little bit sheer on that first coat, but decently opaque, especially compared to the last 2. This is a bit of a darker color, so it makes sense. And those gold flakies that are in there are really small. Good formula on this one as well. So this one does build up pretty well on that second coat. I can still see a bit of my nail line, but that red color does get a lot brighter. This does dry a little bit dull, so you will want top coat to add that shine back. So this one, it does cover completely in 3 coats. So I can still see a little tiny bit of nail line with this one in 3 coats, but it's very, very minor. That third coat doesn't seem to change the color much at all. So that is 3 coats of The Greatest Showman. The next polish is called Everyone's Got Knacked, and this is described as a dusty rose crelly with aurora, shimmer, and ultra hollow glitter. This one is a little bit sheer on the first coat. Good formula on this one. So this one, it does start to build up really well on that second coat. I have a little bit of nail line showing still, so I will do a third, but the color got much deeper. And that deeper color helps the shimmer stand out as well. So this one, it does cover completely in 3 coats. That third coat does deepen the color a little bit more, and then it also covers just a few uneven spots that I had. So that is 3 coats of Everyone's Got an Act. So the next polish is called Rewrite the Stars, and this is described as a violet crelly with iridescent flakies and neon pink glitter. So this one is sheer on that first coat. You do get a good amount of those flakies and that glitter that are in there though. I'm actually going to thin this coat out a little bit. Probably take some of that glitter and those flakies off of the nail because I think it's just a little too much for one coat. And good formula on this one as well. So this one, it does start to build up quite a bit actually on that second coat. I do still have just a little bit of unevenness showing on that second coat, so I'm going to do a third. But the color deepens really well. And you will get a bit of texture and resistance when you try to remove it from this neon glitter that's in here. This one does cover completely in 3 coats. It was really close in 2. It just wasn't quite there for me. And I do feel like I get maybe even a slightly deeper color out of that third coat, but it's not, it's pretty minor. So that is 3 coats of Rewrite the Stars. The next polish is called This Is Me, and this is described as a bright orchid crelly with aurora, shimmer, and black glitter. This one is a little sheer on the first coat, a good amount of that black glitter in there though. And I'm not really having to do too much to get that glitter spread out evenly, although I didn't really attempt it on this nail. And good formula on this one as well. So this one, it does start to build up on that second coat. The color does get a little bit deeper as well. And you will definitely have texture from this glitter, so you will want top coat. This one does cover completely on that third coat. I just had a few uneven spots that I wanted to cover up. So that is 3 coats of This Is Me. The next polish is called The Show Must Go On, and this is a dark cherry red with strong aurora shimmer and ultra hollow glitter. So this one is a little bit sheer on the first coat, but it is pretty opaque. There are some slight uneven spots here, and good formula on this one as well. So this one does cover completely in 2 coats. It was not, I wouldn't say like close to being a 1-coater, but definitely more opaque than the other polishes have been in the collection. This is a darker color, so it makes sense. The color does get deeper with that second coat as well. And this dries a little bit dull, so you will want top coat. So that is 2 coats of The Show Must Go On. The next polish is called Dreaming with Your Eyes Wide Open, and this is described as a lapis blue crelly with aurora, shimmer, and red metallic glitter. So this one is a bit sheer on that first coat. You do get a decent amount of that glitter out. My application might be a little bit rough with this one just because my brush is a little screwy. It's a little chewed up. Good formula on this one as well. And just to say, defective brushes, like, they happen. If it happens, you can always just get a hold of the maker that you bought the polish from and they should replace it. So this one does start to build up on that second coat. I do still have a couple of spots that are a bit uneven, and you will definitely get texture out of this because of all the glitter that's in there, and the glitter will stick to the nail when you remove it. So this one does cover completely in 3 coats. I just had a few uneven spots that I wanted to cover. I think the color might get slightly deeper on that third coat as well. So that is 3 coats of Dreaming with Your Eyes Wide Open. The next polish is called Never Enough, and this is a clear topper with shifting iridescent flakies and fine hollow micro glitter. I am layering this over Essie Expressy Lose the Snooze. So I wanted to pick a darker color so these flakies would stand out decently. The darker the color, the better these will stand out. The colors are coming out really nicely in this. So that is 1 coat of Never Enough. So Something Sensational is absolutely my favorite, and I'm gonna end up telling a little bit of a story to explain why. So this is just, there's a lot of nostalgia with these colors for me. Back in the day, growing up in the middle of nowhere, we had a computer, but we did not have internet until I was in high school, not even early high school, mid high school. And even after that, it was dial-up until after I moved out. But when you have a computer and no internet, and it's a Windows 95 or 98 operating system, there's not a lot of stuff to do outside of pinball, messing around in paint, and solitaire, which actually can fill a lot of your time when you're not used to having a computer. So one of my favorite things to do on that computer was to make PowerPoint presentations about nothing. And I would always, the background of those, this is going on such a tangent, the background of those PowerPoint presentations was always like a diagonal gradient, and I always did lime green and hot pink because I wanted it to look like watermelon colors. And like, it doesn't matter what the PowerPoint presentation was about. Sometimes I didn't even get that far. Sometimes I just messed around with like word art or the gradient backgrounds. But these were always the colors that I went to. And as soon as I pulled this out of the package, it just like took me right back to making pointless PowerPoint presentations and playing around with word art. So that one is my favorite for purely nostalgic reasons. So that is the Greatest Showman collection from Glam Polish. I will link the website down below so you can check those out. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.